this weekend was an interesting weekend. It was good to have competition back, right? It was good to have competition back. Finally, obviously, we had DreamHack recently, which was great. DreamHack was great. Obviously, when it comes to FNCS being solos, people weren't necessarily too ecstatic about that. But regardless, competition was back. People are excited to have competition. The early start, having to wake up so early for a lot of pros, having a tournament that starts at 11, not ideal. Not ideal for everyone. But it was great. I woke up super early. Woke up at 9 on the Saturday morning, and I was ready to go. If you don't know, we were here this weekend. This weekend I did a viewing party with the NBC, hashtag the NBC, exclamation mark NBC in the chat if you want to know what the NBC is. Viewing party with me, Reese Hub, Somebody's Gun, One Up Analytics, Vanji, Awig. It was great time. And essentially we just watched a lot of the action. I started off watching Opens, right? Started off watching Opens early in the morning. I was alone for Opens with the viewing party. And Opens was actually, it was interesting. Typically I don't like watching Opens at all. But Opens was actually interesting. The games were a lot more stacked. There was action. There was a lot of things going on. And it was actually relatively entertaining to watch. If you were here watching for that, it was incredibly entertaining to watch. And I think a lot of people weren't expecting that. A lot of people weren't expecting Opens to be at the level that it was, right? And if we start to look at why that was, I think we'll probably have to credit a lot of that to the point format. People had their complaints about the point format. People have their opinions on the point format. The fact that it made Opens more stacked for me is a positive. I think it's one of those things where I don't think we're ever gonna have something that everybody universally likes, right? Different players play in a different way, and then therefore they prefer different point formats. I think when we have something where, at least it makes the quality of games better, I think there does need to be some adjustment, right, between open semis and finals. I think although the point format for opens and semis had its positives, for finals, I didn't necessarily like certain things about it. Like someone said in chat, I believe, and I'm saying your name wrong, and Marzag, I believe, he said it was tough too, right? It was tough. We saw some players who we expected to make it through to that first finals not make it, right? Obviously, the one name everyone was talking about was Mitra, right? Mitra didn't even make it to semis, which was super, super odd. I don't think anyone was really expecting that. Players like Kiriashi and players like Kiriashi and Alex, they didn't make it through to the first final, and I think a lot of people were a bit surprised by that. They were quite taken aback by that. And I think that for those players individually, adjustments had to be made in order for them to be successful. And you never want to be in a position where you don't qualify for a final, right? Obviously, there are the qualifying spots through actually making it and playing well in finals. Then there's series points, right? And if you obviously miss a week of finals, that could be detrimental to series points. And if you're able to qualify via that way. So I think it got a bit dicey. It was a bit intense, to say the least, right? You wanted to see who'd qualify here and there. But overall great. And if I get the finals results up for the first 2 days, we'll talk about the first day, right? The first day was great. We had Rizane coming in first place. He had 62 points. Second place had 47, right? And there's not much more to say. Rizane, he's someone who's been performing really well recently. He's a great player. He's a great player. And I think a lot of people are starting to take note, so that now Hen TV, BL Hen, he came in second, which was super great. If you were paying attention to the NBC, we actually had Hen in the call with us. Hen joined us for a bit, and he was just Hen's this high energy kid. You don't really know what he's saying most of the time, but he's saying something. And then the rest of the leaderboard had a bunch of the big names that we were all familiar with, right? One of them being Mr. Savage. We also had Mr. Savage watching some NA action with us. He joined for an interview on the NBC, and I think Resub posted that to YouTube, so go check that out. Marin says, really wondering who at Epic HQ thought it was a good idea to let players play 18 hours of solos in the weekend. I'm so damn tired. Yeah, it's one of those interesting things, right? I think when we first got FNCS announced, when we first had it announced, and I did a live stream talking about that, Bala came in here, we were talking about how it's so cramped down, right? We have literally 2 weeks of qualifiers, 2 sessions per weekend. It's a lot of Fortnite, it's a lot of Fortnite. And let's be honest, solos isn't, everyone's favorite game mode, right? Solos can be really draining on your mental. So to play that much solos, it's rough. It is really, really difficult. And all I can say on that behalf is I'm sure Epic had their reasons, I think with the way we've had this season, I think there's a possibility that it was to try and avoid potential issues with, the map changing, different updates and whatnot. I think they tried to cram it down as much as possible so that we could avoid the typical, BS that we've seen in the past where, imagine, with the whole map drowning and the water rising, lowering, rising, whatever it is, like your drop spot's gone, your landing spot's changed, this, that. It would have been a bit frustrating. But even speaking of that, right, we did have the new we had the new drop spot. We had the new spot. Someone in chat will remind me of the name. Right, we had the new spot that was added to the game recently, which I don't know too much. Coral Castle, says Archie. Coral Castle. I don't know too much about it, to be fair. But I'm sure Epic had their reasonings for that. Regardless, though, I think it was still fun to watch. Obviously, Marin, who just asked that question, he came 7th place in that first final. So for the players who were able to secure the first finals and kind of get it out of the way, I think it's you got a weight off your shoulders. You got a massive weight off of your shoulders, and it allows you to just kind of be at ease, right? When we spoke to Savage on the stream, Savage was like, now that I've qualified, there's that weight off my shoulders. I can now focus on other things. I think if you actually look at Savage, the second day of qualifiers, he was W keying a bit more, right? He was taking it easy, and so he kind of had that weight off his shoulders, which is good. I think even with certain people like Benji, right? Benji came, where did Benji come? Benji came 8th. No, that was Mongrel. Mongrel came 8th. Benji came 10th, and because he qualified, he started streaming, right? He was able to stream, and we had some great moments watching Benji stream on the second day. Speaking of the second day, the opens, right? The first day opens was great because we had Safik, who had some amazing performances, right? Safik, literally, what was his average placement? I want to check this out quickly. Safik's average placement on the first day of opens was 2.6. Safik came first, fourth, first. Wait, am I looking at it right? No, I don't think I am. He came first, fourth, third, fourth, first. Those were his games. Do you know how ridiculous that was? And he was landing at the authority. That's not no baby landing spot. You know what I'm saying? That is a spot that is contested by a lot of people who want to get jewels. So that was really interesting to see. But the second day was my favorite opens by far. Just for one reason simply put, Moki won opens, and I was super happy for her, super proud of her. Moki's someone who she's been grinding, she's been competing for a while now. Super talented, super skilled, and as Anmar Zag said in chat, well deserved from Moki. She's the first female to win a solo competition in Fortnite, especially on such a massive scale. Now I tweeted out that if you're out here trying to clown Moki, or if you're out here trying to discredit what Moki did, I personally think you are a clown. I can't respect your opinion as a person if you're here trying to discredit Moki, saying, it was only an opens. Half of you have no earnings, and you'll never be able to win an opens. You'll never be able to get top 10 in an opens. We don't have the statistics on how many players played the opens. Maybe we'll get that sometime soon. But winning the opens isn't easy by any means. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people playing in the opens. So to actually come out and win that, come out on top, is super impressive. Regardless of what anyone wants to tell me, I will believe that, and there's a lot of people who believe me on that one as well. And to be fair, right, I think it would be unfair to just say, hey, look, Moki's one that opens us great, and not highlight, her other successes, right? Moki, she had the Cash Cup. I'm not sure when the Cash Cup was, but remember, Moki had the Cash Cup where she performed incredibly well in that. She's been someone who, this moment was coming. This moment was coming. And hopefully we can see even more from her. Hopefully she can get to grand finals and make a statement there. And Bala said this as well on stream yesterday, right? I don't want to, we don't want to put the weight of the world on her shoulders, right? She is just a young gamer, but she is, leading the chart. She's an inspiration, as Archie said in the chat, right? There are a lot of women out here. There's a lot of young girls out here who are trying to, make something of themselves in the gaming world, actually competing. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think she's going to be that first person to kind of take that step. She's someone who I think people are going to look at, right? And hopefully that's no added pressure to her. Hopefully she's going to keep playing her game, doing her thing. But shout out to her. Alric8 in chat says, I think an even bigger moment is coming, in my opinion. And I'd love to see that happen. Shout out to Vortexia. Vortexia's in the chat. We had Vortexia come and do a little interview for us on the NBC as well, which was really funny because when Vortexia joined the call, the main broadcast was actually showing how he died in game. So like he joined the call and we were literally just watching how he died in game. But shout out to Vortexia for coming to hang out with us. But yeah, the Opens was great. The finals for the second day in EU was also amazing because we had our king. We had our king come out and do what he does best. Benji Fishy won the finals of the second day in amazing fashion. It was super intense. It came down to the wire between Benji and Noarelli. If you haven't watched it already, go back and watch the main broadcast, man. It was super great seeing Bala and Clay casting over that, right? Because it literally came down to a matter of just final moments in Endgame, right? They were both in the last game with each other, and as soon as Noarelli went down, Benji got another kill, and you knew what was happening. You knew he had clutched it up, and he had finally won the whole thing. Second day, Marin comes 7th again. We have Reason A in the top 5. And to be fair, the second day was a lot better because we saw a lot more people who we expected to qualify that first day doing well. Shout out to my boy Wolfies. Wolfies really, really, really amazed me because anyone that's been paying attention, Wolfies is currently injured. Wolfies is suffering with, injury problems. He's having some pain in his hands and whatnot. So for Wolfies to come out and make the finals I was super happy for him. Hopefully we can see him qualify in that kind of top 50 or whatever. But a lot more of the bigger names that we expected to see came out and did their thing, especially Mitro, right? Mitro, he barely qualified for the finals. Mitro literally came 100th in the finals, and we expected him to do a T Classic, right? We expected him to do the T Classic, come out and win the finals after coming 100th. He didn't do that, but it was still a pleasure to see him actually make it into the finals. But his org partner, Mitro's org partner, the Liquid Boys, Stretch and Mitro, right? Stretch did the exact same thing as Mitro, barely qualifying for the finals. In the semis, Stretch came 100th, right? And on the second day of NA East finals, Stretch comes out and he wins the whole thing. What can I say? He did the T Classic. And in amazing fashion. And it was great because if you look at the top 10 for the second day of NA East, right? We had Stretched in first, Bugha second. Former duo, former teammates playing with each other, and the actual third of their former trio, Clarity, my brother Clarity, who recently signed to Ghost, he was in 7th place. I'm super happy for Clarity, man. I don't know. I just thought you can't dislike Clarity. I don't know. You just can't dislike him. And then Canada was in 10th as well. It was interesting. It was interesting because I think that we're going to see the same thing happen this next weekend where a bunch of people qualify one day, they don't qualify the next day. A bunch of people struggling, a bunch of people barely making it into finals, but then doing well in the actual finals. And I think that's where the cause for concerns are, right? When you have some of the best players in the world barely making it to the finals, like barely making it into semis, barely making it into the finals and whatnot, but then actually coming out and dominating in the finals and whatnot, it makes you think, hey, maybe we need to be adjusting the point format for the different stages, right? What does that point format look like? I don't know. I know there's a bunch of people who have great ideas for what we can see, but at the moment in time, I don't actually know what that is. Bang FN says the same thing happened in DreamHack. Yeah. And I think hopefully the people who are in charge of these things at Epic and at DreamHack or whatever will be able to realize that, and maybe we can see some more experimentation where we do get those kind of changes. Obviously, it's not going to happen for FNCS now, because it's already begun, and I know Epic are against kind of changing point formats and whatnot middle of the tournament, so you probably won't see anything about that moving forward. One thing I will say though, one thing I do want to bring up in regards to this weekend, cheating. Ever since controller aim assist was nerfed, we've seen an increase in the amount of people talking about cheating. Peak FN says, why are you in Kai? Actually, we'll talk about this before we go on to the next topic. Why am I in Kai? I am in Kai because Kai, this is the story of the weekend. I actually want someone who does statistics to actually find out how many times this weekend in the finals did somebody with Kai win a game. Because I'd like to bet you it was more than 50%. I'd bet it was more than 50%. When we were watching and doing the viewing parties, every single time someone got Kai, it was just like, they're gonna win. They're gonna win. It's Catty, man. Getting that grenade launcher is ridiculous. Benji was really angry about it. Benji made a tweet and he was super, super upset about it because Catty cost Benji a couple games. He still was able to come first in the finals the second day, but Catty was affecting him. Whenever somebody gets that shockwave launcher and they are just shockwaving people out of zone, if you don't have jewels, or you don't have if you don't have bare floppers or you don't have jewels, you're screwed. Need to clear the throat there, guys. As I always do every stream, shout out to Highland Spring. I'm waiting for that sponsorship still. Be sure to drink some water, man. And if you're going to drink some water, drink some Highland Spring, man. Great water. Back to Kai. When it comes to win conditions, Catty is the best win condition in the game. That's it for me. When we compare all the different win conditions, I see Crip said crash pads. Crash pads is a great win condition, right? If you have crash pads, you're set to have a good game as long as you know how to use them, right? But when you have that shockwave launcher, it's the best. It's the best win condition. It's the best win condition out there. And so many times we saw this weekend somebody get the Kai launcher and then go on to win the game, because it's ridiculous. Back in the day, when people asked, "Hey, Levin, would you like to see shockwave grenades back in the game?" I said no. I don't want to see shockwave grenades back in the game. And then what did we get? We got a flipping grenade launcher that spews out a bunch of shockwave grenades at will. And it's so frustrating when you just watch somebody on high ground shooting down the shockwaves and blasting people way out into the zone. It's super irritating. It's not entertaining for me to watch. That's not why I enjoy watching in Fortnite. That is, it makes endgames less enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. And on that same conversation of I didn't want to see shockwaves because I didn't think they were good for endgames, my least favorite thing about shockwaves in endgame were that it was literally like a trampoline fest, right? Shockwave grenades back in the day were like a trampoline fest. It was non-stop. You hear the and then someone just flies up into the sky. I didn't want to see that again. Then we got an actual trampoline added to the game. We got crash pads, an actual trampoline. So, it is what it is. To be fair, as much as crash pads are pretty good, they are cool. They are a cool aspect to the game. Seeing the way people have been able to implement them into box fighting, right? Knowing the angles, understanding how to use crash pads to be able to get into your opponent's box and whatnot. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than chucking down that crash pad, breaking straight into your opponent's box, hitting that charged up pump shot, and just knowing that the fight's over. Like, you just know. It's so clean. It's so satisfying. You know the fight's over, right? But regardless, it's something that, hey, would I want to see that moving forward? I don't know. It take a lot of convincing. To do. Ruben says crash pads are cool, but aren't what we need. I feel like, yeah, I think they are cool. I think they've added. One thing that I will say is good about them. They've added something to competitive. They've added a new level of skill in some capacity, right? But even then, I'm not overly pleased with them. Wixie, shout out to Wixie, my boy. I love Wixie. Wixie says, I'm a big fan of crash pads, to be honest. People have been asking for more of an easy access movement item for ages, and they're also extremely easy to reuse as community movement too. Yeah, like they do have their benefits, but at the same time, there's pros and cons with everything. There's pros and cons with everything in the game. IQ says you're so fit. Thank you, IQ. I needed to hear that. Bang says they are way too common. Yeah, I do agree with that. I feel like they are quite common. I don't know if there's some sort of increase in the spawn rate or something, but I see so many players with crash pads all the time. And speaking of crash pads, we'll get into this next subject. Speaking of crash pads, we saw there is a bug in the game right now where you just get like 1 million crash pads, or sometimes it's like floppers or something. I'm sure somebody in chat will have some sort of explanation about it. We saw Waffles. Need to drink more Highland Spring, guys. Need to drink more Highland Spring. We saw Waffles. He was banned this weekend after he showcased a video of himself in game where the glitch happened to him. He had 1 million or something crash pads, and he couldn't do anything. His inventory was just full of crash pads. He couldn't pick anything up. Even when he used the ones in his inventory, they didn't go. Like, he was stuck with just crash pads. To be fair, the clip is, fairly humorous, right? And you can go check it out on Twitter. It's frustrating, bro, because he was banned as a result of it. But there wasn't anything he could do. He didn't incite the glitch. He didn't try to do the glitch, and there was nothing he could do to actually get rid of the glitch, right? If you watch it, there's literally nothing you can do to get rid of the glitch. But he was banned. And it's one of those things where it's scary. It's scary territory, because if I'm a top pro player and it happens to me, what do I do? Do I back out? Right? And he couldn't back out. It was the final game of his qualifying stages, right? If you are in your final game and you need a good game to qualify, you're gonna back out. You're not gonna back out, are you? You're not, right? And it's scary territory, because it's like, what do I do as a top player? What do I do if I'm in my last game and that happens to me? I don't want to back out. I want to qualify for the finals. I want to qualify for this event. What do I do? And I think, as much as Epic, have this policy in which they don't discuss bans publicly, right? We've been called. We've asked them to explain bans publicly to us for ages now, and they never really have. So, and it is a policy that they have, and there is nothing wrong with that. To preface, right? There are plenty of companies who don't have. Who have policies where they don't publicly say why people have been banned for whatever reasons, right? If you look at Twitch right now, everybody wants Twitch to come out and say why Dr. Disrespect was banned, but Twitch have like a policy where they don't discuss these things. But I think this is where Epic need to potentially take that kind of step, make that change, where we need some form of explanation. Maybe not on specifically why Waffles was banned, but we need to know, like, what do we do in his position? Because as far as we're concerned, he didn't incite. He's an innocent man, in the sense that this is something that happened to him. And if I'm a pro player, I'd be very concerned. Hey, if this happens to me, am I going to be penalized for it? Right? Super scary territory. I'd like to hope that Epic will come out and maybe potentially clarify something along these lines. I see a lot of people, bashing the comp team, bashing Epic a lot. I'm someone now who I actually would like to come to their defense, right? I'm someone that I want to come to their defense more, because I feel like they are not given enough credit for their highs, and they're completely slated for their lows, right? But this is one of those things where I'm gonna be one of those people that says, hey, look, we need something here, in form of just understanding of, hey, because this is genuinely something where any of us could be in that situation, and I don't want to be the person who gets banned for something that was out of my control, you know. So hopefully we can see some resolution on that one soon. And speaking of banning, we're on a chain. We're on a change. We're linking everything we got right now. Sorry if I missed this, but surely what he posted on Twitter, despite it being a meme in his previous history, would make them ban him. Says Resub. But this is why it's dangerous territory, because if he was banned for making a Twitter clip and saying what he said on Twitter, then does that mean, like, are we being banned for what we come out and say, like, on these other platforms, right? If somebody's name on Twitter is soft aim, if somebody makes a clip on Twitter where they laser someone out the sky and they tag it soft aim with that cheeky emoji, should it be banned? Right? It's dangerous territory. It's dangerous territory. I understand Waffles does have a history with the whole dubs thing, but that's why we need clarification. It's dangerous territory, right? Like, do we now have to be more mindful of making jokes like this? Because he was obviously joking, right? He was obviously joking with his Twitter clip. So does that mean that we have to all now be more mindful of these things? That's why I think we just need some sort of clarification, right? I don't want to be like if that is the case, then hey, everybody who makes jokes about soft aiming or whatever, like, be careful, you know, be careful, because you may be banned for it, and that's why there's an issue, right? So we need some clarification. We need some clarification on that. Driptic says, what is your opinion on Snipers 11? I think, you know, we recently got news. I reported it and Bala reported it during last week, where we were told by Lumen that grenades would no longer be in the game. And what else was it? Something else, the rarity of something else. I can't even remember my own. I can't even remember it myself, and I'm the one that tweeted it out. I'm the one that reported it to the world. What was it? Stinks. Yes, stinks would be a lot rarer. So grenades removed, stinks would be a lot rarer, and I think snipers should have gone with the two. I think snipers either should have been removed completely, or they should be more rare. I'm not a fan of snipers. I think snipers, they can be, if you're a player who is a good sniper, they can be great, right? Especially in like team-based game modes, where, you know, you have one of you who carries a sniper and you have that guy who, you know, he's going to get you guys out of Storm Surge issues because he's going to hit a bunch of snipes and whatnot. But, you know, being able to just be sniped with no counter and your game's done, it's very frustrating, right? Savage, when he joined the call, he told us about how he had been sniped while swimming. He was literally swimming, trying to rotate, and he gets sniped. Like, that's screwed. Have you covered the point system 11? Yep. We covered that in the beginning. So I'm not a massive fan of snipers for the most part, but I do see why some people are. Moving on to actual cheating. Actual cheating. Like I was saying before, once controller players, once you know, last season, Fortnite was in a frenzy. We were in a frenzy in which everybody's talking about aim assist. Everyone's talking about controller players, and there needing to be some form of a nerf for aim assist. And we got change. We got change out of that, right? We got change. Controllers, aim assist was adjusted. There was some forms of nerf or whatever that happened, and now people don't really talk about aim assist now, right? Typically, as a community, we're not talking about how aim assist needs to be more nerfed or anything of the sort, which is great. But with that, we had the rise of people talking about cheaters and people cheating. Obviously, we had K-Quid's whole incident, which kind of ignited that. It brought light to the fact that there could be more cheaters out there potentially. And this weekend, we were bombarded with certain players being accused of cheating. It was ridiculous. There were periods of time this weekend where I just wasn't on Twitter, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't bear to just see my timeline with just non-stop tweets about people saying, cheater, he cheats, this clip here, he cheated here, he's cheating here, look at this, cheat. I hate it, personally. I don't like it. Look, this is what we need to understand about cheating, and about anti-cheats and all of these things here. Epic work hard to have a good anti-cheat. Slasher tweeted out a while ago, and it was resurfaced. Epic literally bought 2 anti-cheat companies. They have 2 anti-cheat companies in charge of the anti-cheat, right? They're doing more than other games are. The way anti-cheats are, they are an iterative process, right? They are constantly learning. They're constantly changing and adapting and learning. And the nature of that means that, there will always be hacks that are one step ahead of the anti-cheat. But all it's about is allowing us to be able to report those hacks so that the anti-cheat can constantly, clamp down on those hacks quickly. Like Shooting EV says, right? Cheaters will always find a way. That is the nature of it, right? But if we can clamp down on them and be quick to clamp down on them, that is going to be the best for us as a whole. Publicly going out and discussing these cheating allegations is incredibly dangerous. It is incredibly dangerous, and I'm not a fan of it at all. And I'll quickly give you an example of why. While we were doing the NBC, I believe it was on Sunday, right? There was the whole cheating allegation stuff with Clicks, right? Clicks' whole cheating allegations, whatever it was. If you know about it, you know about it. If you don't, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to explain it. After all of that happened with Clicks, there is a Discord. I've heard there's a Discord where cheats are distributed of some sort. Maybe it's even a troll Discord, but right, there is a Discord where the whole main theme of the Discord is cheating in Fortnite, right? I don't know the name of the Discord. I'm sure once again somebody will say it in chat, right? From what I was told, when the whole Clicks cheating allegation stuff was going on Twitter, so many people apparently Cheaters Plus Plus is the name. Maybe that's the name of the Discord. Cheaters Plus Plus, whatever. Apparently, there was a large amount of people who joined the Discord literally in that moment of time, like based off of all the stuff that was going on, right? The more we bring awareness to the fact that loads of people are cheating and getting away with it, the more people who are going to go out their way to try and cheat, right? This Discord that distributes cheats, who is about cheating in Fortnite, gained a large amount of people, right? So many people started joining the Discord. Why? Because they have the idea now that they want to cheat. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's incredibly dangerous, and on that front, right? Because it opens eyes to a bunch of people, especially where we have a young community. Fortnite has an incredibly young community with a bunch of impressionable kids, and when we have like 13-year-old kids who are watching Clicks, right, complaining about this cheater, and this kid's like, hey, look, maybe this is my only way to get good. Let me try to cheat myself. Now there's another cheat added to the game. On top of it being dangerous on that front, it's incredibly dangerous witch hunting people who we have no actual concrete evidence or proof of them cheating, right? With K-Quid, it's different, right? We literally saw on K-Quid's screen, he had the applications, he had the actual whatever you call it, right? But when we just get clips from replays and whatnot, it's incredibly dangerous, because some of these people who are accusing of cheating, they may be cheating, they may be cheating, but some of these people that we're accusing probably aren't cheating, right? And so it's a fine line where you can potentially, harm somebody's career, put a dampener on somebody's name to where, it affects them negatively. Right, not everybody's gonna end up like Dubs, right? Not everybody gets called a cheater and then comes out of it, ends up on FaZe, and it becomes the best player in their region, and then lives happily ever after, right? Not everyone's like that, right? You're hurting people when we don't have concrete evidence. One thing that we did see over the weekend, for anybody who did see the videos that showcase people cheating in Fortnite, one thing that scares me about what I saw genuinely was from what I saw, it's something that's very easy to hide. If you were cheating, it is something that is incredibly easy to hide, and that becomes very scary because it's like, you know, how do we know who's real, who's not? You know, like it's one of the things where the clip I saw is that they literally could like have it toggled to a button where if they tap the button it would lock onto someone, right? So what's stopping someone from tracking someone and then tapping that button every once in a while to just get a couple hits? You know, like there's so many possibilities where it's very, very dangerous, right? We're in a dangerous territory where discussing these things, it's just spreading more awareness. It's going to catch on like wildfire. We're going to see more and more cheaters, and I don't want Fortnite to be this game where we have a cheating epidemic where everyone's cheating and whatnot. Like, I'd hate to see that, right? And so my advice to you guys is, when you suspect cheaters, when you see things, when you see these things, don't just go on Twitter sharing it around, spreading it around, whatever. Go through the right channels. Epic are trying to clamp down on these things. Report it to Epic. You know what I'm saying? Report these things. Epic care. Epic genuinely care. They don't want their game to be, you know, run wild with cheaters. So report these people. You know, do it through the right channels. If you have to take a photo, you know, use the in-game function like Archie said. Go actually email Epic or something. Like, do something, but don't go spreading it on Twitter. Like that's very dangerous. You know, we gotta be more responsible as a community. And that's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on cheating, and hopefully you guys take my opinion on that very well. And there are other people who share the same kind of opinion with me and share these same feelings with me, and I'm sure they'll tell you the exact same things. So, with that being said, I think I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for this weekend's competition. I'm excited for DreamHack as well. DreamHack should be fun this month. I'm actually going to be spending a lot more time playing the game. If you guys watched my stream this weekend, you would have seen, I can't even speak English, you would have seen that Bala gave me the work in creative, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm a bit rusty, guys. When it comes to gaming nowadays, I watch a bunch of Fortnite, but when it comes to gaming, all I play is Valorant. I haven't been playing much Fortnite, so I'm quite terrible at the game at this moment in time. I have been for a while now. So I think this week I'm going to spend a lot of time playing some Fortnite, chilling with friends, maybe even doing some VOD reviews. A bunch of players have really interested me this weekend, just from watching them in tournament and whatnot. Like, I want to go and watch some people play. And I'm going to watch a lot of content, a lot of VOD review content. Shout out to my boy Destiny's Jesus, man. I love watching DJ's videos, guys. When you watch DJ's videos, you get so much out of them. You learn so much. So shout out to him. He did pay me for that, by the way. That is why I said that. He did indeed pay me. Shout out to Resub as well. He's on the NBC. He makes great content as well. So yeah, I appreciate you guys all for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about some more stuff tomorrow. I think I'm going to do these more regularly, where we just talk